All right, so we are going to make our kit here. This is the steel healing kit. And when you open it up, you can take out your supplies. You should have 3 different crystals: citrine, carnelian, and clear quartz. We have our glass tube beads here, our beading needle, we have our 8/0 rose gold beads, and we have our 11/0 rose gold beads. And then we should also have our 8/0 matte pea green beads, thread, and we should also have measuring tape. So let's go ahead and arrange everything. Let's go ahead and open up these. Here. Stretch out our measuring tape. You can tape it down or anchor it down in some way. All right. So first things first, we want to measure out 12 inches, okay? So we're gonna put this in at 1 and measure out 12 inches. So we have our 12 inches here, okay? Next, we are gonna measure whatever we want the length of our waist bead to be. So I've decided to make this strand 33 inches, and you can make the strand the length that you desire it to be. So we're gonna do 12 inches that we measured plus the 33 inches. Okay, so we have 12 plus 33 inches here. Next, at that 12 plus 33 inch mark, we're gonna double it. So 12 plus 33 times 2. That is the total length. Okay. Next, we are going to cut. All right. Now let's gather our ends here. And we should have a curved beading needle. Take one end, put that through the eye of the needle. Match the ends and then pull the needle. You want that dead center. Okay. Next, what we can do is we can take one of these, we open up, take one of these rose gold beads, and we're gonna put that on the end of the needle, slide that on, pull that all the way down. So you want to pull it all the way down to where you just have enough thread to grip it. This is an anchor bead. This is going to keep the design from falling off, sliding off. And we're going to tie a basic knot. And we want to tie it, we want that bead to be in the knot, okay? We don't want the knot to be before or after the bead. So you want to do that 3 or 4 times. Just keep tying the same knot over and over again. Okay, tighten that up. Next, we are going to do a slip knot. So you can take 2 or 3 fingers depending on the thickness of your fingers. My fingers are pretty thick, so I'm going to do 2 fingers. I'm going to wrap that behind and up. I'm going to pinch it. I'm going to slide my fingers out. I'm going to wrap that behind again. I want to go through the loop and pull that through the middle here. That's how we do a slip knot. I can teach you again. Let me show you again. So we're going to grab that anchor bead. We're not going to let it go. Slow it down for you. Wrap it behind. Don't forget, you can pause this video as well. Wrap it behind, pinch it with my index and my thumb, slide out my middle and my ring finger, right? So this is what it looks like, just pinching it, okay? Next, we're gonna wrap that behind the double strand loop. We're gonna wrap that behind. We're gonna go through the hula hoop here. We want to pull just a little bit through, and then we want to tighten that. It's called a slip knot because you can do it and redo it and undo it. You can pull it. Now I'm going to do that in real time just for the sake of moving on with the video. So once you have your slip knot, you want to make sure that the loop is not too big. We want to make sure this part is not too big, and we want to make sure the tail end, the part from the bead to the knot, is not too long either. If the loop is too long, too big, and the tail is too long, you might want to redo that slip knot. Okay? All right. Now let's go forward. And if you're like me, you will want to, if you have a bead mat, you will want to have your beads already out of the bag, just so they're more easier accessible. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead. Okay. Let's do the crystals too. I'm not really concerned about mixing beads or crystals. If you are, you can spread them out differently than I have done. So I kind of like everything to be close together, so it's easier to grab. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna grab our needle and we are gonna spin 1 full needle length. So we wanna make sure that I don't count the beads, I use the length of the needle to measure. So when the beads cover the full straight part, I pretty much know I've reached my desired bead count. So the first part is done. Next, we're gonna grab 1 11/0 rose gold bead. We're gonna grab 1 11/0 rose gold bead, and another, we're gonna grab a 8/0 bead, and another 11-0 bead. Got that? And we're gonna start with a crystal, whichever crystal you want. I'm gonna do 2 rose quartz. And then I'm gonna repeat that same pattern 2 more times. So 11-0, 8-0, and 11-0. Depending on the thickness of the crystal, I might choose to layer 2 crystals, 3 crystals, or 1 crystal. It really is up to you how many crystals you would like to put in a single stack. It's really up to you. So that's the pattern. Again, it's 2 11-0 beads sandwiching an 8-0 bead. The 8-0 is the larger of the 2 sizes. Okay, so there we have it. Put that on. And then we want to do another needle length of the green 8-0 beads. And next is going to be another sandwich of the 11-0 and the 8-0 and 11-0. And I'm going to put on a tube this time. And then I'm going to sandwich again the same pattern of the 11-0 and 8-0 beads. And then, you guessed it, a full needle length of the green. And now I'm going to go to my next crystal. And I'm going to do exactly what the next crystal, the citrine, as I did with the clear quartz. So we are nearing the end here. And how do I know we're nearing the end? It's because I measured 12 inches in the beginning before measuring the measurements for my waist bead. And those 12 inches were for 6 inches in the beginning to leave without any beads, and 6 inches in the end to leave without any beads. And so that's what we use to tie on our waist beads. So here's your 6 inches from the beginning. And now I want to make sure I allow myself 6 inches at the end. And so how do I make sure I don't go over? I take the needle and I put it at a mark, at a measurement, and I make sure I measure 6 inches. So right here, we can put at 26. And I'm gonna measure backwards till we get to 20. That's gonna give me 6 inches. There we have it. So that means my design needs to stop here. And one thing that I do to make sure I don't go over I will put a little mark right there. That's telling me stop. So as you can see, the last pattern we left off with was carnelian. We went from clear quartz to citrine. Sorry. We went from clear quartz to citrine to carnelian with the glass 2 beads in between. See that? So our next pattern is going to go right back to the clear quartz. Again, whether you double up on the stones, do single stones, triple, that's completely up to you. It is the creator's preference, creator's choice. Sometimes I'll do 2 in a stack, 3 in a stack, 1, depending on how fat and thick the crystal is. I don't even know where the hole is. Okay. Oop. That hole is not feasible. So we're finishing up here. So one more needle length and it looks like we're going to reach our stop mark, and then I'll show you how to end your waist bead. Okay, so we've reached the end. What we want to do is we want to take that needle, move it out, up first things first, sorry. Before we do that, let's put on an anchor bead like we started off in the beginning. We're gonna end just the same way we started. So we put that on, then we wanna take this needle, loosen that thread, slide that needle out the way. Give that a nice snip. Take the needle off. Don't forget to take the needle off. Then we take our anchor bead. We pull that to the end, just the same way we started. And we are going to tie several knots. I like to do 3 to 4 knots. And then we're going to do a slip knot, just the same way we started. There we have it. Our steel healing strand.